Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight we're going back to my childhood with patty melts, except this one has a twist. It's a grilled cheese. Now when I was a kid, patty melts were just something we had every once in a while. They were great, they were a treat, and it's pretty easy to recreate them, especially since mine has a twist. I make it like a grilled cheese sandwich. Now, we're going to start with caramelizing onions. This takes the most amount of time. So instead of following the recipe, which I'll link down below, it's at homestylecookingwithjen.com. I'm going to do a little meal prep while I'm making caramelized onions because we love them and it will save us time during the week since it takes 20,000 years to make caramelized onions. So to start, we take our onion and we just dock the ends. And get rid of them. And then I cut it in half. And this makes it easy to get the paper sides off. And then just run my knife through them. Now the recipe on the site makes 2 patty melts. But today I'm making 5 onions worth of caramelized onions, and then I'm using about 1.5 pounds of ground beef, which should make about 4 to 6 good sized hamburgers for the patty melt. So during the week, if either one of us want to have a patty melt real quick, it's just a matter of grabbing the hamburger out of the refrigerator or freezer. I'm going to freeze part of mine. And then just making a grilled cheese, basically. So I have my 5 onions sliced. And now it's time to get over to the stove. Okay, so we have come over to the stove. And the first thing we're going to do is put the oven, or stove, not the oven, on medium-high heat and melt some butter. Now, because I have so many onions, I'm going to use this whole stick of butter. And I'm just going to plop it in tabs. I'm not really paying too much attention to how big the tabs are. Just get them in and we'll swirl them up. And then I will replace the butter in that before I get myself in trouble. So what we're going to do is just make sure that the butter is nice and melted completely before we add the onions. And okay, now that the butter has melted completely and it's starting to bubble a little bit, I'm going to add the onions and start sauteing them. And if you ever find these little plastic containers, we got ours at Amazon, and I will put a link in the description below. But definitely pick these up. They come in a variety pack of like 50. They're dishwasher safe, microwavable. I use these things all the time. They're awesome. But now back to actually cooking. So in a high-sided skillet, I am going to toss the butter so it coats my onions. Oh, that one didn't want to break apart. Um, it'll break apart while cooking. But I'm going to coat the onions in butter, and then they are going to soften and release their sugars, so and end up caramelizing. This process takes about 25 minutes. Don't rush this, because if you do, you'll end up with burnt onions instead of caramelized onions, and no one wants that in their life. So we're going to let these cook for 25 minutes, and I'll see you back here when they are nice and gummy and caramelized. So while the onions caramelize, we can go ahead and start making the beef mixture. And I forgot my plate. One moment. I have to have something to put the hamburgers on. So right here, I just have about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. Again, if you're just making the recipe, it only calls for half a pound. I'm just going to freeze some of this. So what we're going to do is we are going to add some Worcestershire, salt and pepper. So it's 5 dashes to half pound. So we're looking at about 15 dashes. That's good. And then some salt. And then good old pepper. And make sure you season the meat really well. There's nothing worse than bland meat. It's so gross. And then we're going to get in with our hands because it's the easiest way to do it. And just mix up the meat. And if anybody wants to know where this bowl came from, it came from my grandmother. I have no idea where she got it. It's stone. It's from the 50s or 60s. That's about all I know. I know that most of our stoneware comes from false craft. Um, but this particular bowl, I don't even know if it's something like this is made anymore. But just get in there, mix it up. And what I do is I just take it from the bottom and fold it over the top, just like I'm kneading dough. And I just make sure that everything is incorporated. And once it is, you just make patties. So we'll have 2 patties tonight, and then probably 4 or 6 throughout the next few weeks that we can freeze. So, and then I'll just put them on the plate like that, and I guess I'll let you see it. And keep going until I have all the patties made. And now that we have our patties made, it's time to get back over to the stove. Now you may think these are burnt, but they're really not. These are caramelized, so I'm going to put them on a plate and then get some of them in one of my containers. Honestly, I think I'm just going to put it directly in the container. Like I said, they come in different sizes. So I'm just going to take some paper towel and put it in the bottom of the container so it can soak up some of that juice. Okay, so put these in the container. Alrighty. And I'm going to go soak this pan and then we can get started on the burgers. So all I did was wash out the pan that I made the onions in. Is it perfect? No. But I literally just got through using it. So we're going to call it good. Now I will put a little bit of oil in the bottom of this pan just because some of my meat is a little on the lean side. But now I just wait for that oil to heat up a little bit and we make hamburgers. Alrighty. And I'll put 2 patties for dinner tonight. And then these, I'll show you what we're going to do with this later. Turn this down a little bit. And let it cook on the other side. Okay, so while the hamburgers are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and put the remaining hamburgers into fake stasher bags. These are reusable bags. We got them Walmart, Amazon, something like that. If I can find the link, I'll put them in the description below. And I'm just going to pop these in the freezer. So I just put them in. Since there's 2 in the house, I put 2 in at a time. Try not to mess things up as much as possible. Ooh, it's smoky in here. I can't put the vent on or you wouldn't be able to hear me. And then hopefully this last one fits in this little bag. Ooh, like a glove. And of course this goes into the sink to be fed into the dishwasher. And those go into the freezer and they'll freeze for 6 months. Okay, I'm going to get some of the smoke out of this room and I'm going to put these in the freezer. Then I'll be right back for the next step. Okay, so full transparency. I burnt the first ones. They're charred, but it's fine. We'll break them up, I'll put them in eggs or something later this week. I'm currently working on the second batch. They're coming out quite a bit better. And I have the door open so the smoke can get out of here. For some reason I put the oven stove up a little too high and yeah, it happens. But while we're waiting on that, we can get the bread ready. So now I need, yes, we have multiple butter dishes. It's good when I have to use a whole stick of butter on the stove. So what we're going to do is this patty melt is actually going to be a grilled cheese sandwich. And I'm going to take 4 slices of rye bread. And I'm going to pause for a second because I need to put the French fries in. So here that. Easiest way to cook French fries, air fryer. That's a lot. There's two of us, so it won't be as bad as it looks. Okay, so what we're going to do is while that finishes cooking, I'm going to put butter on the rye bread, just like you would a grilled cheese sandwich. Now I am using unsalted butter, but if you prefer, you can use salted compound butter's good. Just anything you like. Make it yours. It's a grilled cheese. Alrighty, so we've got the butter on the bread. And I'll put this up again so I don't get in trouble. And now we're just waiting on the hamburgers. They look dark, but they're not burnt this time, I promise. And I'll get you back over to the stove so we can go on to making the grilled cheese. Okay, well, I know these look really dark and burnt. They're actually not. It's the thawing from the previous hamburgers. They do look done. So I am going to actually put these over here. And don't look, but these were the first attempt. Yeah, it happens. Now I'm going to get a pan for the patty melt. All right, new pan, new me. So I'm going to put a piece of bread, butter side down, just like you would with any grilled cheese. And then I am going to put, I'm going to fight with the bag first. I'm going to put a piece of Swiss cheese down. Then I'm going to get one of the burgers, put that in the middle. And I'm going to put some of the onions. And those caramelize so nice. And then another piece or slice of Swiss cheese and the bread. Now, because that's a big old sandwich, I want the cheese to melt without burning the bread because we've already went through that once. I'm just going to put a lid on so it can steam the cheese. Now, to flip this thing, it's interesting. So 1, 2, 3, ish, sorta, kinda. No one will know the difference. And then the lid goes back on and it melts some more. All right, let's see how this does. Now, since everything is cooked, we're just looking for the bread to be toasted and the cheese to be melted. Look how pretty that is. And that one is almost ready. All right. So this one is ready, and let me do the next one. So we've got bread down, piece of cheese, burger. Don't do that unless you have asbestos for hands. Believe it or not, I actually do know how to cook. Some caramelized onions. And then I'll just put this in the refrigerator and we'll have it throughout the week. They're not going to last that long. I should have made more. And now another piece of cheese. And put the lid on. and then put the lid on. So I'm going to clean up my mess, and then I'll see you over at the board, and I'll show you how we plate these up. All right, so that was an interesting adventure, my first day back and first video back in 3 years. I'm going to need some practice, but this patty melt is absolutely delicious, and just listen to this. That is a serious crust. Now I serve this very simply. I just cut it down the middle. And look at that. And I just put it on a plate. And then I get the French fries I made earlier. And these are purposefully crispy. And just throw them on a plate. So I know it's been a really long time. I'm back in the groove again. And I'm a home cook. We make mistakes. We burn stuff. I'm not going to hide that from you. It's been a long haul. Life has happened. I moved. So videos will be more consistent. They will be once a week on Sundays. So if you liked the chaos of the kitchen and you wanted to try the patty melt, check me out at homestylecookingwithjen.com. And if you want to see future videos, just hit the subscribe button and don't forget the notification bell. I appreciate you. And as always, I hope you stay happy, healthy, and well fed. See you next time.